I met this one 14 years ago. Bollywood Hollywood was one of my first interviews, and I did it with you.
That's true.
And here we are today.
Well, it's, like you said, thematically, it's very similar to all my other films. The concerns are the same: identity, immigration, can we assimilate? What's the result of trying to be visible in a society that wants to make you invisible? And this is very similar to my first film, which was a film called Sam and Me, which was about 5 men who share a rooming house. And 15 years later, I'm doing it about 7 men who are kicking ass. And it seems to be a natural progression. And I love the genre. And I think that when people try and deal with a problem that any community has, where there has been no backlash so far. But no community, whether it's your community or whether it's the Irish community or whether it's the Italian community, wants to be a section of it to be portrayed in a negative light. I think when we migrate to this country, we don't want to create waves. We want to be, in fact, the perfect docile people. And the dominant society, in fact, wants us to be that. So to break that stereotype is very important.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like the way that is method acting.
Is Deepa Mehta the OG?
Yes, she does, but the way she is, she's very honest. And she can be very authoritative. She is a real gangster, I tell you. I was wondering how a woman's going to make a gangster flick, but once I started working with her, I realized I've always loved her work and wanted to be a part of her films. And it was her mother who actually suggested to her to cast me. And she said, "Oh, this boy's got good cheekbones, cast him in the movie." So that's how I came about. I'm very glad, and there's a lot of difference working here. It's a lot more regimented, and a lot more time bound. We can get away with murder back home as actors, but it was refreshing. I mean, newly acquired work ethics for sure. Oh, you don't know Deepa. Oh, it's a big problem. The first time this script came to me was a photographer who used to do photography at these gangsters' weddings and funerals and stuff. And he showed me the research, and I was flabbergasted that this is happening. And funnily enough, that movie was called 20-something because most of these boys were dying before the age of 30. So it's a problem plaguing, and I think the Gurdwara and the community at large was turning a blind eye to it. I think they were all benefiting from it. But but lately with the gang task force and some do-gooders in the community, the problem has come down, but it's not totally disappeared. And I think that problem has now come to Toronto, to Brampton. And I think they should watch out for it, because a lot of young people who do not know what's right from wrong, are taking up on it, and the lifestyle, the cars and the girls, they get carried away with it. But at the end of the day, like we say in the movie, crime doesn't pay, and I think that's a redeeming factor for the movie, as well as Deepa, to kind of get that message across without being preachy.